Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many times in your life have you faced a moment when everything changed? A job loss, a relationship ended, a global pandemic hit, or maybe technology shifted the game overnight. Now, be honest, did you resist the change or did you rise with it? Here's a universal truth. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Change will come whether we want it or not. The question is, what will you do with it? We live in an era where the speed of change is faster than ever before. Technology is evolving, industries are transforming, and societal values are shifting rapidly. The way we work, communicate, learn, even the way we think is in constant motion. It's no longer enough to just be smart or skilled. You have to be adaptable. Adaptability is not a soft skill anymore. It's a survival skill. Let me share a story with you. It's about a man named Blockbuster. Okay, not a person but a company. You remember Blockbuster, right? They were giants in the video rental space in the 90s. At their peak, they had over 9,000 stores worldwide. Everyone thought they were untouchable. But here's what happened: they refused to adapt. Netflix came in with a new model DVDs by mail, then streaming, and Blockbuster laughed them off. They had a chance to buy Netflix for $50 million. They said no. Fast forward a few years, Netflix is worth over $200 billion, and Blockbuster, one store left in Oregon, surviving as a tourist attraction. That's what happens when you don't embrace change. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to empower you. Because while change can feel threatening, it also holds massive opportunity. Every challenge that knocks you down also carries within it the seed of growth, if you're willing to dig deep and look for it. Think about nature. Trees don't resist the wind, they bend. That's how they survive the storm. It's the same with us. The people who thrive, the ones who succeed and lead in times of uncertainty, they're not the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who know how to adapt, how to stay calm, flexible, and focused when everything around them is shifting. Let me ask you, are you one of those people? If you're not sure yet, that's okay, because that's what this conversation is about. Today, I want to give you the mindset, the tools, and the confidence to become not just someone who tolerates change, but someone who thrives in it. Someone who sees disruption not as destruction, but as an invitation to evolve. Let's take another example, a real powerhouse of adaptability, Elon Musk. Whether you agree with him or not, you can't deny his ability to pivot and embrace change. He moved from software PayPal to electric cars Tesla to space travel SpaceX. And now artificial intelligence and brain-computer interfaces Neuralink. The man is constantly evolving, constantly learning. And guess what? He fails a lot. Rockets explode. Products flop. But he adapts. He learns. He gets back up. That's the mindset we need. Adaptability begins with one key belief: I can figure it out. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to believe that whatever life throws at you, you'll find a way. Let me speak to the fear that holds most people back. Change is uncomfortable. It breaks routines. It shakes up your certainty. Your brain craves stability. It wants to know what's coming next. But growth never happens in your comfort zone. I'll tell you a personal story. A friend of mine had a stable job in a bank for over a decade. Safe, predictable, comfortable. But deep down, he was miserable. He wanted to start his own business. He had a dream to coach others, to inspire. But fear kept him stuck. Then one day, the company laid him off. At first, it felt like the worst day of his life. His identity was shattered. His income was gone. But something magical happened. He had no choice but to adapt. He launched that coaching business. It wasn't easy. He struggled. But step by step he learned new skills. He reached out for help. He pivoted, adjusted, and grew. Today he's living his dream and making more money doing what he loves than he ever did in that bank. That's what change can do. It can force us to grow into the person we were meant to become. Now, I know not all change is chosen. Some of it is painful. Loss, illness, crisis. But even in the darkest seasons, we have a choice. Stay stuck or adapt. React or respond. Break down or break through. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the world stopped. Businesses closed. People lost jobs. Entire industries were turned upside down. But amidst the chaos, something beautiful happened. People adapted. Teachers learned to teach online. Fitness trainers started Zoom workouts. Restaurants built delivery models. Entrepreneurs launched online businesses from their bedrooms. We are more resilient than we think. The question is, are you building that muscle now? Because let me tell you, the pace of change is not slowing down. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the job market. Automation is transforming industries. Remote work is becoming the new normal. If you cling to the old ways, you'll be left behind. But if you learn to evolve, you'll rise. So, how do we build adaptability? It starts with curiosity. Ask questions. Stay open. Be a student of life. When something changes, don't say, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "What is this here to teach me?" Next comes flexibility. Stop trying to control every outcome. You can have goals, but be open to how they manifest. The path to success is never a straight line. Be willing to pivot. Be willing to unlearn and relearn. And most importantly, develop emotional resilience. You've got to be mentally and emotionally strong enough to weather the storms. That's what we'll dig deeper into in the next part of this talk. But for now, I want you to reflect on this. Where in your life are you resisting change? And what would happen if instead of fighting it, you embraced it? Your next level of growth, your next breakthrough, your next victory, it's waiting on the other side of that resistance. So, where were we? Right, resisting change keeps you stuck. Embracing it sets you free. But let's be real. It's one thing to talk about embracing change, it's another thing to do it. Especially when everything inside you is screaming for safety. That's why this next part is about building the emotional resilience to not just handle change, but to grow stronger because of it. Now let's break that down. What is emotional resilience? It's your ability to bounce back from setbacks, to stay calm under pressure, to rise when things fall apart. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you don't feel fear, stress, or uncertainty. It means you don't let those emotions control your actions. You see, most people run from discomfort. When things get tough, they numb out scrolling endlessly on social media, binge-watching Netflix, complaining, blaming, making excuses. But resilient people, they lean into discomfort. They feel the fear and take action anyway. Let me give you an example. Think of the Navy, SEALs. Some of the toughest individuals on the planet. Do you know what makes them so powerful? It's not just physical strength. It's mental toughness. In BUDS training, the Gruen selection process, they deliberately push candidates to the edge of exhaustion, pain, and fear. Why? Because they're testing how well you adapt under extreme pressure. Life isn't always a battlefield, but your mind, That's the battlefield every day. If you can learn to remain resourceful when things get tough. Period. But how do we build that kind of resilience? It starts with a shift in perspective. You've got to stop asking for an easier life and start asking to become a stronger person. You've got to stop thinking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how is this happening for me? Because life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Let's talk about mindset here. Do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? This concept, introduced by psychologist Carol Dweck, is a game changer. A fixed mindset says, this is just the way I am. I don't like change. I can't do this. A growth mindset says, I may not know how to do this yet, but I can learn. I can grow. I can figure this out. Which one are you operating from? If you're stuck in a fixed mindset, it's like driving with the brakes on. You'll stay in the same lane your whole life. But a growth mindset? That's the accelerator pedal. That's where breakthroughs happen. Now, here's the truth about human behavior. We are creatures of habit. Your response to change is not just based on your attitude, it's based on your patterns. So if you want to be adaptable, you've got to build the habits of adaptability. Let me give you 5 powerful habits that will rewire your brain to thrive in change. Spend 10 minutes every day asking yourself, what challenged me today? How did I respond? What can I do differently next time? This builds self-awareness, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is what helps you stay grounded when the ground beneath you is shifting. You want to get good at handling change. Start by doing one hard thing every day. Wake up early. Take a cold shower. Speak in front of a group. Start that project you've been avoiding. The more you train yourself to be comfortable with discomfort, the less fear has control over you, because fear shrinks when you move toward it. Read. Listen. Observe. Ask questions. Every single day, expose yourself to new ideas, industries, skills, or people. The world is moving fast. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. Adaptability is a mindset that says, I'm always a student. Even the masters keep learning. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, used to watch footage of high school games, to study movements, patterns, and plays. Always learning. Always adapting. Energy is contagious. If your circle is full of people who complain, resist, and fear change, that's going to rub off on you. But if your circle is full of people who innovate, pivot, take risks, and move forward, you'll start doing the same. You need people who challenge you, who believe in you, who don't let you settle. Every day, train your emotional state. That means move your body. Breathe deeply. Speak powerfully. Visualize success. If you wait for life to be easy before you feel strong, you'll never feel strong. But if you train your state, if you learn how to create confidence on demand, you become unstoppable. Because adaptability doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from your state of mind. Let me give you another powerful example. Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty. Faced trauma, discrimination, rejection. She was fired from her first television job. But she didn't crumble, she adapted. She carved her own path, reinvented herself, built one of the most powerful media empires in the world. And you know what she said? The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Let that sink in. Change your attitude, change your future. That's the power you hold right now, today. And let's be honest, sometimes adapting to change feels like loss. And that's okay, because it is. Change often requires you to let go. Let go of identities, relationships, habits, environments. And letting go feels painful. But here's the key. Every time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you make space for something better. Think of a snake shedding its skin. That old skin kept it safe for a season. But eventually it must be shed for growth to continue. The shedding is uncomfortable but necessary. So, ask yourself, what are you still clinging to that's holding you back from your next level? Is it a job that keeps you comfortable but unfulfilled? A relationship that's draining your energy? A limiting belief that says, I'm not good with change? You've got to be willing to release the old version of yourself to step into who you were born to be. You were not created to stay the same. You were created to evolve. Look around at nature. Everything that's alive is growing, shifting, adapting. Trees stretch toward the sun. Rivers change course. Animals migrate. Seasons shift. It's only when we resist our nature to grow that we feel stuck. So the real question is, are you willing to surrender who you were for who you can become? Because here's the truth. You were built for this. You were designed with the capacity to grow, to adapt, to rise. The same spirit that carried people through wars, pandemics, revolutions, and reinventions of lives in you. Don't let fear keep you small. Don't let comfort keep you stuck. This is your moment to evolve. Now, let's breathe hope. We've talked about what change really is. We've looked at stories of giants, people who pivoted, adapted, and thrived. We've talked mindset, habits, and emotional resilience. But none of this matters if it stays in your head. Knowledge doesn't change lives. Action does. So right now, I want to challenge you. Not next month. Not when it feels more convenient. Right now, decide who you're going to become in the face of change. Decide that you're no longer going to resist life. That instead of being reactive, you'll be proactive. That instead of fearing the unknown, you'll become excited by it. Why? Because the unknown is where the magic happens. Let me share one final story with you. It's about a young man named Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba. Before he became one of the richest men in China, he faced rejection after rejection. He applied to dozens of jobs, was turned down by all. Even KFC didn't hire him. He failed his college entrance exams multiple times. No one saw him as successful material. But Jack didn't stop. He adapted. He taught himself English. Learned it from the internet. Embraced a vision of the digital future long before most people did. He started Alibaba with a belief that e-commerce would explode in China. And guess what? It did. Jack Ma didn't succeed because life handed him the perfect opportunity. He succeeded because he saw change coming and leaned into it. That's the power of vision. When you're adaptable, you don't just survive change, you shape it. So I'm going to ask you again, and this time I want you to answer from your soul. What is life asking you to let go of right now? What is life inviting you to become? You already know. Deep down, you already know. Maybe you've just been afraid to act on it. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign. Well, this is your sign. This is your wake-up call. Because here's the truth. Change doesn't care if you're ready, but it rewards those who are prepared. And that's what you're doing here. You're preparing. You're becoming the kind of person who welcomes change like an old friend, not because it's easy, but because it's how you grow. So how do you move forward from here? Let me give you a simple 3-step action plan you can apply starting today. What you tell yourself about change determines how you experience it. Most people say, I hate change. I'm not good at this. This is too much. Instead, start telling yourself, I adapt quickly. I find solutions. I grow stronger with every shift. You don't need to lie to yourself, you just need to choose an empowering story. Your story creates your reality, so make it one that moves you forward. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. It doesn't have to be massive, but it has to be real. Apply for that opportunity. Have the hard conversation. Let go of what's no longer working. Try something new even if you don't feel ready. Because motion creates momentum, and momentum kills fear. Even the smallest step in the direction of your evolution is better than standing still in perfection. Adaptability is not a what-I'm thing. It's a lifestyle. You're going to mess up. You're going to resist change sometimes. That's okay. Just don't stay there. Keep learning. Keep pivoting. Keep evolving. And when fear creeps in, and it will remind yourself of this truth. Everything I want exists on the other side of change. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to speak directly to your heart. There's a version of you that's stronger, wiser, more alive, just waiting to be born. But that version isn't going to emerge while you cling to comfort. Comfort zones don't build character. Storms do. Disruption does. Discomfort does. Your next breakthrough is not in doing more of the same, it's in daring to step into the unknown. And you're not doing this alone. Every great leader, innovator, creator, every single one of them had to step through change. And they were afraid to. But they did it anyway. So can you. From this moment on, make a decision to stop fearing change and start flowing with it. Make a decision to stop being a prisoner of the past and become the architect of your future. Because the world doesn't need more people hiding from change. The world needs more leaders of change. And that starts with you. You've got a gift. You've got a fire. And you've got a choice. Are you going to let fear define your future, or are you going to adapt, evolve, and rise? Say it with me. I am not afraid of change. I am adaptable. I evolve. I grow. I rise. Every time life shifts, you shift better. Every time the world moves, you move faster. Every time something ends, you find a new beginning. Because you're not stuck. You're just becoming someone new. And that, my friend, is the most powerful transformation of all. If this message fired you up, if it spoke to something deep inside you, then don't just watch this video. Share it. Say it. Live it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what change are you embracing right now? Let's build a community that doesn't run from the storm, we dance in it. Because together, we don't just survive the future, we lead it.